guys. Welcome to this week's very special Reality Bites. So sad that Steph can't be with us today, but I'm here, Courtney Kosak, and we have a very special guest co-host, Big Hearn. I want to call you that every time. Steve Hernandez.
Steve Hernandez. Good to meet you guys. Good to be here.
Friend of myself in the show, and so we're here with Reality Bites. As usual, sex, love, relationships, and dating in the digital age. And let's get into it, Steve.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. There's beautiful white women everywhere. We have one man. He looks cute. You've never had a problem with ladies, have you, bro? Nah, he's fine. And I like his hands, big hands. But yeah, beautiful white women everywhere.
Very into the producers and crew.
Yeah. Oh,
we do this, we spill our tea now.
Yeah.
This is where we talk about our business.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the show?
I haven't seen the show. I've listened
Oh my God!
I've listened to a bunch of episodes.
Oh, you've listened?
I listen. You said seen. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm up to date on all the episodes.
You are?
Yeah, I know what's going on. I mean, we're friends, so I know what's going on in your relationship, but I know what's going on.
You texted me to get a little down low. You were like, oh, are you still?
Yeah. And you're wildly in love, right?
I'm pretty in love.
Yeah. I mean, you guys didn't see this. She probably doesn't want me saying it, but she got a text and she said, "Oh, I'm so in love right now." It was sad. It was gross. Yeah.
Why are you so cynical? Who hurt you, Steve?
Well, my last girlfriend hurt me. How about that? I've been divorced from an abused home. Okay, I've been through the shit, guys. But yeah, I can't wait to fall in love again. That'll be great. When was the last time you fell in love?
Before this?
Yeah.
I think you know the guy. We don't say names on the show, but
okay, so that was about 4 years ago, something like that, right?
That was about the very beginning of it. Was probably like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been like long enough to like totally forget what it feels like. I mean, not complete. You never like completely forget, but like to be like, yeah, like that's not.
That's when I first started seeing you on videos and everything, and you falling in love with that guy who's a comedian, so I know who he was. It made me think, oh, maybe this woman's like more interesting than I thought, because that guy's like he's like a very good comedian.
He's very funny.
Yeah, super funny, but he's no model or anything. He's just a regular looking guy. Maybe even less than regular. Look at
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. He's not watching this at all.
He's certainly not watching it.
But,
why would you do
that made me think like, oh, okay, so she's not just some hot babe. She's probably got some other stuff going on. And, you know, we're friends years later, and you do have other things going on, so.
That's interesting. I think people were interested in that combination.
Yeah.
Yeah, just intrigued by like what's going on there.
I haven't seen pics of the new guy yet, though. You haven't shown me or anything, but I'm sure he's a hunk, right?
The new guys, I'm very curious what you would think of the new guy.
Oh, are you gonna pull it up?
I mean, I could. This is.
Let me.
You want to see?
Yeah, hurry up. I mean, we got these beautiful people here.
Listen, this is my show.
Okay.
This is not even his best pick.
Yeah, I know.
This him with a baby.
Oh, he's just a normal-looking guy.
I think he's really cute.
Yeah, you're in love with him. That's why. But he's just a normal-looking guy. He's no model.
Yeah. He's not a model, but.
But he's wildly talented.
Yeah, it's creative in its own way. He is a restaurateur.
Oh, I think that's sexy. Like if I'm a woman, I think that's sexy.
It's really sexy.
Yeah.
But he's actually like, oh, we do kind of the same thing in a lot of ways, because like I feel like as a writer and like a creator that like my life's like a little bit of a scavenger hunt. Like I'm like using little bits of inspiration and like, you know, mixing them all together and like coming up with different premises and like, oh, that's a great title, or like, you know, whatever. And he's like going around constantly like taking pictures of different like neon signs, or like, you know, like coming up with like great restaurant concepts. And it's like similar.
And they're both wildly competitive fields too. Like when you say like restaurateur, it's like, oh, that's crazy that anyone would ever want to be it. But it's crazy to ever want to do what we're doing
I know,
too.
it's psychotic.
Yeah, it's like, it's not going to work, but we're making it work. Or you can't do anything else but.
Yeah.
Now I want to meet this guy. I thought maybe he was a cook or something. I didn't realize he was a restaurateur.
Oh, now you're interested.
Okay. I'm going to find some babe, and we'll go on some double date. How about that?
I would love that.
Oh, a double date with us together would be so fun. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bring you to one of his restaurants.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just gotta find some babe. I'm stuck in this like.
Yeah, let's talk about your thing.
Okay.
Because listen,
Yeah.
I want to talk to you a little bit about on-off relationships, because like the guy that we discussed earlier, that my last like serious boyfriend, that turned, not at the beginning, but that turned into like an on-off thing. And I really like your last girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I think she's amazing and has a lot of like really awesome qualities. She's a super babe.
Yeah.
But you guys have been not necessarily on off, but just kind of like doing the dance of like, are we gonna get back into this thing, or like
Sure.
a little bit on off?
Yeah, I mean, it's complicated though. I guess we have to say why, like, we broke up for people to not think I'm just some idiot. Because I mean, we have to.
Well, you had this like kind of like a fairy tale beginning, or like very sweet beginning. That
She's
like,
also a comedian, and she's stone cold. Like, she's a babe. Like,
She's a
hot. Like,
babe.
you wouldn't believe how hot this girl is. Like, she's so hot. Like, I even saw her yesterday. She came to a show that I was doing, and she looks like a pinup model, and like she wore this dress, and it was like, geez, like it's too hot. It's too much. Like, everyone thinks she's hot. But yeah, we had this great thing, and we worked together. And I'm kind of like a producer. Like, I'm like a Wyclef Jean type thing. Yeah, I'm just always like thinking about, like, we were a great power couple and everything, but there's a couple of different instances. I feel bad saying this stuff because I don't want to spill her dirt up, but it just has to make sense of things. But she hit me 2 different times when she was drunk.
And you grew up in.
And I grew up in like an abusive home and stuff like that.
Where
so.
like that's not like a joke to you.
Yeah.
Like, that's not like you don't.
Well, I didn't realize how serious this was, and just even talking to guys about this stuff, because people don't talk to men about it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not a thing. But yeah, like the first time I told her don't do that again, and then the second time I was like, man, we got to break up. And I really loved her, and we got together, but it was just like it like clicked something in me where I was like, oh, I can't let this thing happen to me again.
Yeah.
So it's almost, I made this promise with like little Steve when I was little. Like, I remember being little, and I remember saying, I'll never let this happen to me again. So when it happened again, I didn't realize it was such a big deal to me. Uh-huh. And sometimes, like, I even picture me being like 5 or 6 or 7, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, dude, this is some real grade A puss though, bro. You gotta let me go on this. But he's just like, no. He's just looking at me like, no, we made a promise. So at first, it was devastating for me in a lot of ways. It took me 6, 7, 8 months to like be okay with it. Because with that kind of stuff, and I know there's a lot of women experience this, but a lot of guys experience it too. But it's such a mind fuck because I loved her. I didn't stop loving her just because she did that. So you could be upset and you could like stand for a thing, but to be able to like get out of it. So like if this happened to a woman, nobody would be saying, oh, you should get back with it. You should get back with this guy.
That's true. That's totally true.
But everyone does love her, and she is great, and I don't think she would ever do it again. But if it was the other way around, but you love her, a lot of my best girlfriends love her, and they're like, Steve, you need to get back with her and stuff. And I don't know. I mean, but we still do hook up. Not all the time, but it happens. It goes back and forth. If on paper it looks wonderful, I'd like to get back there. But we were saying, for me to be in another monogamous, for me to be, and this might be for, I don't want to speak for every guy, but for everyone, to be in a monogamous exclusive thing, I've always felt you need that falling in love shit. So you need that.
Oh yeah, we were talking about this before the show.
Yeah, so you
because
need,
like I'm feeling it right now.
You're like falling. You're in that shit like you're on drugs. And I think that's kind of, for me, that's what I need to be in an exclusive monogamous relationship. So you almost like when you think about a rocket ship, you have that big bottom booster shit that gets you out of the atmosphere, and then that thing falls away. That's what falling in love is to me. So to get back,
I think you can sustain that feeling, but yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, no, actually, I think falling in love is like being on drugs. But when the drugs go away after 6 months or a year and a half, then you're left with, okay, do we get along? Do we value the same things?
No, but I think you can sustain that kind of like
What's the longest you've ever been in love for?
Passionate stuff. Couple years. But we were incompatible.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like there wasn't that to fall back on, but I think like if we would have been more compatible, then we could have sustained, because like we love to have sex with each other.
Yeah.
We like love to do different stuff, which like keeps it fresh.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. But also too, I don't think you get both. I don't think you get a lot of that.
No, they've done studies where like brain scan. It's rare.
Yeah.
But some brain scans of people that have been in love for a long time. Are you giving the camera the side eye?
I mean, I love hearing about these studies.
No, it does not happen to everyone. But like,
it's very rare.
It's very rare, but it exists.
Okay.
Anyway, we're talking about the new shit.
Yeah. But all I'm saying is that with this thing, I do love her. I do find her wildly attractive and all these things. But I don't know if I could get back with her in that way. So it sucks because I do love her, still attracted to her and all these things. But yeah, I don't know. And she would do anything to be back with me too. So.
Really?
Yeah, and she would, and I don't mean to take advantage of that ever, but I don't know what to do sometimes. But I don't know.
I think that like not having the early. Oh, this is what we were saying before the show, is that like, because we were talking about once the on-off part after you're out of the atmosphere, and then you start to go on-off. It's like you don't know. It's like some shit gets broken along the way, and like you don't know which way it's supposed to be bent anymore, and like you don't have the like pure euphoria to like be like, oh yes, I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
This is the right decision. This is totally the right person. Like the doubts creep in, and
so I'm logically trying to figure out with just pure logic what the right thing is to do,
which is hard.
And then I could say all these good reasons, but also like someone punching you in the face a couple of times, a lot of people might say that's a pure deal breaker.
Yeah, no, and that's such a gender bias to be like.
Of course, because my women friends, are you crazy? The stuff they said to me when it first happened is crazy. I mean, I've written jokes about it.
It is.
Because they said.
I'm one of those people. I just think I love her. I just think she's so great.
And everyone, yeah, she is great, and I don't think she'd do it again or anything. But all my women friends were like, "What'd you say?" or "What'd you do?" And I was like, "Are you crazy? Like, if this was the other way around, I've never felt more like a 1950s housewife in my life." When I was like, well, to be fair, dinner wasn't on the table at 8. So, that's maybe why she did. Of course not. There's no reason for it.
No.
Ever. Whatever. But we'll see. I don't know. I don't know logically how to figure this thing out. But I am afraid, and I know this kind of thing happens with on and off stuff, is that it just becomes a real shitty thing and real toxic. And I don't want to use her. I don't want that to happen to her. I care about her and everything like that, but.
Do you think you're going to have to make a full break at some point to like be able to even explore other options fully?
I don't know what I mean, I don't know. This is about me being a shitbag. I don't know. If I was smart, if I was like, I don't know, if I was a good person maybe. I mean, I don't think I'm a bad person, but maybe if I just broke up with her and didn't see her anymore, and just really stuck to that. And maybe it's taken this long to figure that out. I think that's probably what I should do if I want to be a good person too.
Yeah, just in the interest of like also letting her move on and
of
stuff.
Her, of me, and all of that stuff. Because I think maybe I could get away with it because I'm a guy. But yeah, if I
mean, just like in terms of like keeping it in a sexual compartment in your head. Or like,
yeah, although I don't think it's strictly that. I care about her and I love her, but I gotta not see her either. And we're both comedians, and that's hard. And she's good friends with like some of my best friends. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm at the place now. Listen, I think we figured it out. Right here on the intro. Yeah, because that feels right to me. That's like that feels like the right thing to do. So you did get this exclusive.
But you've said this before, haven't you?
Yeah, but to be fair too, like, I don't know.
I'm not trying to bust your balls on the camera.
I have said it before, but I haven't been drinking. I don't drink. I don't want to drink anymore for the past couple of months. So maybe now I think, because that's what it would be. We'd be at a comedy function. And
you'd be kind of like
if we're around each other.
Text her, like,
no, she would be there. I've been pretty good about not saying like, hey, come over or anything like that. It's not that, but we just are around each other a lot. And so.
Then you see her like
Yeah, I mean, we're going, if we're around together and we have some booze in us, we're going home together. The sex is outrageous. I mean, you guys, this is a very serious intro, but wait till you hear the other stuff. Like, yeah, I'm incredibly amazing at sex.
Oh my God.
I mean,
I don't even know if we get into that in the rest of that episode.
No. I mean, well, hold on. That's not true. You can't, I don't think you could say that universally about everyone with sex, but I'm for sure a great kisser. Because sex is different for everyone.
It totally is.
Yeah.
No, totally. And people want different stuff. I'm a great kisser too.
Yeah. To me, like, I always say that. However you feel about me, whatever, like, just let me lay one on you. Because I for sure, you could be a universally good kisser, I feel. But people like different things from sex. But if you kiss me and you're like not into it.
Something's wrong with you.
You're crazy. You got to get out of here. You got to go wait 3 months somewhere else, sister. That's all I got to say about that, okay?
Oh, this has been a pleasure. Yeah. We are going to come back after the break with our guest for today, Sid Wilder. She is an actress, comedian, writer, YouTuber, and it's going to get real. So come back.
She smells like a centaur shaved directly onto a pile of wet trash.
Rude! Why you gotta be a dick to Catsby?
What's rude is bringing an animal into our apartment without asking our roommate. Typical Elizabeth.
Typical? Typical? I cannot believe you just called me typical. You basically just called me basic, which is so rude.
Well, that's typical. Oh, you're quite the inconsiderate roommate at times. With your love band practices, never clean the kitchen, and don't even get me started on the kettle corn incident.
Wow! I cannot even believe you brought that up. And how is any of that comparable to any of that dumb magical crap I have to deal with because of your stupid job? Wait. Holy crap! Bad kitty!
Hi, guys. We are back with our guest co-host, Big Hearn, Steve Hernandez, who you guys already met. Mm-hmm. And our guest today, who we're super excited about, Sid Wilder.
Yes.
Amazing actress, writer, comedian, YouTube persona.
Yep.
All around funny lady.
Well, thank you. You too, girl.
Let's start at the beginning. So,
Sure.
What's your relationship status?
I am single as fuck.
Single AF.
Single AF, you guys, for PG.
And you are interested in, do you date men, ladies?
I'm very straight. I'm very straight. I tell that to all my friends. Yeah.
Very straight, so you've never had any kind of...
It's just not for me. I tried it.
Okay, good.
It's just not...
I think everybody should try it, too. Even guys. I know guys aren't allowed to, but I've...
Why are they not?
No, Steve is... You're very open about it.
Oh, yeah,
Talked about it. I heard your stand-up about talking about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't like to say, I don't think I like to say I'm queer because I don't want people to just identify me as that. And I'm not mostly queer, but I have had sex with guys like 10 times. I mean, you gotta really know.
10 times is you kind of figure it out.
For sure.
Yeah.
But especially, and I have jokes about all of these things too, but yeah, you never know. I just think about how sad would it be, because you meet all these sad guys all the time, especially nerds and stuff that are on the computer, and they're just so sad, but they're afraid. And what if just one penis in their mouth would make them so happy? You never know. You never know, right?
I think that's an unfair, not necessarily stigma, but just place that men aren't really allowed to explore in the same way that women are. Yeah. And I actually love, the first time I saw you do stand-up, you did your bit about, God, what is
anal sex or something? It was I just heard it.
Oh yeah,
that wasn't the one.
The best blowjob I ever got. Are we allowed to curse on this? I don't know.
Okay, good.
The best blowjob I ever got was from this older Latino man.
Okay.
Like an old Latino man in Ontario,
California. A porn shop, right?
Yeah, at a porn shop. It was right after I quit being a pastor.
What? No, wait a minute. Seriously?
Yeah,
I love it.
Pastor. But I quit, and I was young. I was like 23 or 24. But I was working at the screen printing place in Ontario, California. And on the way home, I used to get some beer and just get drunk in the parking lot and go in these porn shops. I don't know if you guys know this, but this was I just got on the internet in 2008. I'm very new to this thing. But They used to go.
Like you thought you had to go physically to the place.
Well, yeah, at pawn shops they have these arcades where you go and you like put in $5 and you could watch pornography, and like guys like jack off. There's like these little booths and stuff like that. And I went, and one time I was there and I was drunk thinking about God, all sad and shit. Yeah. And one time I was there and I was jacking off, and a guy, like an older Mexican guy in a suit. He looked right, okay. He was like a smelly guy. He looked like a
High class.
Yeah, and he was like, "Is it okay that I'm here?" And I was like, "I don't care," I was like, all flirty and shit. So I did that, and then after a little while, he was like, "Is it cool if I give you a blowjob right now?"
What guy's gonna say no to that?
Well, you know, I had to think about it.
Tell him the punchline. The punchline's so good. What is it?
This is the punchline. I'm giving away my act. Reality Bites are getting exclusive.
It's okay.
But okay, so at that point, I had to ask myself a question, and that question was this: Steve, do you want to live the rest of your life knowing that you are for sure 100% heterosexual? Or do you want to get your dick sucked right now?
So good. That's amazing.
And yeah, on stage I let it sit for a while, and you just feel like, wow. It took me so long to get good enough to talk about those things, though.
Yeah.
And I had to figure that out because most guys can't laugh at that stuff because they think, oh, it means I'm gay.
Right.
So the whole time, a lot of my act is queer, and it kind of tends to be queer, even though I'm not really that gay. But in a group type situation, which I've been in, like, I want you to remember me. So,
right.
Yeah, so a cock, a clitoris, I don't care. I'm like going like a warrior on the battlefield. I want to be like, remember me. I want to win. So
I think that's so cool that you talk about it on stage, though, in such like a open way. And I love that when we met for coffee, you were like, it took me forever to land on that punchline.
Yeah.
Because you had to like walk the perfect line of like getting the guys on board to be like, Because like you said, when he first started the story, like, what guy doesn't want to get their dick sucked?
Exactly.
Like you thought that too.
Yeah.
But you're pretty straight, right?
Yeah, I'm very straight.
Tried it, didn't like it. It was a thing.
Just not my thing. Yeah, even when I'm in the bathroom with my girlfriends, I'm like, hey, I'll help you, but don't kiss me. I'm like, don't do that. I will never be that drunk.
Yeah, I'm straight as well.
But you've never tried it.
I've kissed a girl, but like it's not really, like I think women are beautiful.
Yeah.
But like I am just not interested, like it's not for me.
What about a threesome? Like, has your man ever asked you like for like, hey?
No.
Not this particular.
Not this one. Okay,
It's still
good.
pretty new.
Not this dude. It's never like been a thing. I think if I were gonna have sex with a girl, I would just have sex with a girl.
True. I don't like to share.
Also, like, I
Have
don't
you
like
had
to
a threesome?
share.
Yeah, but it never works out. It never worked out.
Come on, are you kidding me? I've had all kinds of threesomes.
Yeah.
Really?
I hate them.
The best kind really are two guys and one girl.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of men
Never
will.
had that.
If you don't know threesomes, then you guys like think they want two women. But one woman, if you're really trying to do it right, you don't know this, but around the LA sex comedy scene, I'm known as kind of like a sex god. Like if you really want to do it right, like one woman's very hard to figure out. Like if you want to do it right and to focus and pay the right amount of attention. Two women, it's a mind fuck.
Yeah.
And as a man too, you have to like play it real cool the whole time. Like I deserve to be here.
Yeah,
You
I
gotta,
deserve to be
yeah,
here.
So you
Oh
like
my
keep
gosh.
a cool face the whole time. But with two guys and one woman, you could just, it's like you're with your bro, like, we got to get this thing done. You're like building a cabinet. You're like building a cabinet, and like you could look at each other's eyes and be like I can't. Can you believe it? We're here, bro.
This IKEA chef looks dope as fuck, dude.
Yeah, like we're here. It's great. Like we're doing this. This is fun, and you just have a great time, and you please the woman, and she feels worshipped, hopefully.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, you go in. I go in there with that mind frame. Is let's give this woman the best night of her life. So that's.
You sound so sweet.
Oh, I guess. We're talking about fucking, so
I've heard that from women too. That's the best kind of threesome.
Oh yeah, and then plus there's a competition. Even when you watch pornography with two women and one guy, there's times when the girls just kind of like one of the girls is kind of just like petting them and stuff. Like leave me in here. Like it's fine. But with two, there's a hole for everyone. With two guys and a girl, and everyone's involved all times. It's great.
That's hysterical. I love it. I've never had a threesome with two guys, and I don't really want to.
It's a long life, Sid. It's a long life.
Never say never.
I don't know. I can
Are
live
you
without
single right now, right?
that. I'm so single.
And how long has it been since you were in your last relationship?
A year.
Are you open to a new one?
Not right now.
Yeah.
Maybe later. I just want a career really bad. I want my career to be my boyfriend.
Yeah.
It's not too much to
I
ask,
totally
right?
get that.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's always too, like, the minute that you stop, like, focusing on it or whatever, it's like, then, you know, dicks just fall from the sky.
Dude, when I was going through my breakup, I was like, oh my gosh, I have so many dicks chasing me, and I was still in a relationship, and now I'm just like, I don't even care. Like, I'm just so over it.
Yeah,
I downloaded those apps, and I was like, this is really sad. And it was mainly for writing, because I was like, who are on? Like, what kind of people are on here? I want to know.
So she met her boyfriend.
Really?
I met him on Tinder.
Oh.
This sounds
A
so
numbers
bro-y, but it's a numbers game. Like, it's, you know, I know some people that have gone on their first, like, Tinder date or Bumble date or whatever and been like, oh, and then that was my person. Like, Kira and Tyler, I think that was, like, their first, a couple friends of ours, it was, like, their first OkCupid date, and now, like, they're married and she's, like, gonna have a baby.
Yeah, beautiful
sweet.
couple.
But, like, for the rest of us, like, it takes a lot of, like, fails and, like, you know, like, I was totally sprung on this guy earlier this year that I met on Tinder. Didn't work out, like, was sad about that, and then dated around a little bit more, and I met this guy that I'm with now, and he's awesome.
How long have you guys been dating?
Since, like, mid-August.
Oh, so that's serious for LA.
Yeah, it's pretty. They were kind of. She didn't like the guy right away.
Whoa,
That's
there you
not
go.
totally, I just didn't, I was still, like, kind of into this other guy, and I, like,
It's hard when you're into another guy and you're like trying, you know,
Yeah.
because obviously the other guy wasn't putting in the effort, right? He wasn't like texting
well,
you back.
I'd ended things with the first guy in, like, the beginning of June, and then, but was kind of hoping, like, he was gonna, like, get his shit together and come back. And so I was still, like,
They never do.
They never do.
they do when you don't want them anymore. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
that's how it always works.
You always know too when you've met someone else, they text you like right then.
Yeah, it's
and it's
weird.
like, oh, I wanted you, but now I'm like, you know, kind of,
But I'm so glad now that that didn't work out, because, like, it wasn't
meant to be.
meant to be.
Good.
You have this super sexy online persona, but just in the brief amount of time that we were talking before and everything, you're so funny and you're nice and all these other things too. But guys, when they want to date you, do they just?
They're such assholes. So they like have this like front because they think that, you know, like I'm kind of intimidating when I, you know, and I'm really shy actually when I meet people, unless I've had a drink or two, and they'll be like, hi. But I don't like to start a conversation. Usually when I'm out, it's because I'm doing something like this or I'm at an event, because I'm usually just at like my house, like just writing or like doing whatever I need to do for work.
Yeah.
So when I go out, it's at events and like you see like mutual friends, business, like people that you want to talk to. So when there's like a guy, I don't really pay any attention to him, so I don't really like talk to him. And then they don't want to really approach me. When they do online, they send me dick pics or just really forward and aggressive, like, hey, do you want to go to Dubai? I'm like, no. Or like, do you want to go on my yacht? Or like, it's just like not my scene. I'm like, I just want someone to be real with me and like be humble and like
You
sweet.
seem very authentic.
I try to be, you know, like my hair is fake.
But your personality seems, like, totally real, and that's, like, great.
That's what's like so weird, because my image online is like this big, like sexy, like, and I'm like, I am not really like that in person.
Yeah.
That's not really who I am. But
If,
your
if you guys
DMs.
see, she showed us some pictures of when she was a kid, and they're
I was really
bad.
attractive. No, I was really attractive. For a little lesbian boy, I was really attractive.
Listen, all of us have had awkward stages. I personally don't think it's any worse than most of the awkward stages I've seen or experienced myself.
Absolutely
So-
not. I've dated white women my whole life, and I'm used to coming to homes and everything and checking out the framed things and everything. I've never seen kid pictures this bad. So
Probably not. Well, you know what? If she sends one to us, we'll throw it up. But, like, really, the only one was because her cheeks were pink.
My athletic basketball picture.
Yeah,
I look
and
like I
I
was
have
with my
one
partner.
of those. I have one of those exact same haircut. So, like,
Well, it's just crazy because you look at you now, and I think this
she's
is
a fox.
it's a lesson for guys. It's a lesson for everybody, for guys too, is that you have this whole backstory, and it's part of who you became, because you were. At what age? Because you said your mom always said you were beautiful.
Oh yeah, she was such a liar.
Yeah.
Such a liar.
But you did you ever at some point then turned? You
But
felt
you
beautiful?
are. You're a
Started cheering.
swan
Oh, thank you.
now. So like, she wasn't wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You are
Thank
now.
you.
Was there a point where you felt ugly?
Yeah, my sister wouldn't talk to me because my sister was like prom queen, super cool, and it's like when we'd go out, she'd be like, "I don't know you." And I was like, I guess I should work on something. So I started cheerleading, and that's when it went like all downhill. I was like, I need to lose weight, I need to dye my hair, I need to do this. Like, I learned how to do my makeup. So I do my own makeup like every time. I don't like have like a makeup artist. So yeah. So I learned how to like make myself pretty.
But your childhood then, and through middle school and stuff, you felt okay, right?
No, I felt really ugly. I was always like too fat and too tall, but that's how I learned like you need to be nice to people. So no, you do. You need to be nice to people.
You really do. And to our younger viewers and listeners, there's like such a lesson. All the like beautiful swans that I know as adults have went through like some pretty horrendous, awkward stages. Don't you think that's true?
Sure. Although, now that I've been out in Hollywood and everything, and I'm meeting all these women, it is such a, growing up, you hear, ugly people have good personalities and vice versa. But being out here, you meet so many beautiful, intelligent, kind women. But it might have to do with what you're saying. They weren't always that way.
Yeah.
But
I think there is something to that. That like if you grow up and you're like not the most beautiful or whatever, even though it's like who expects like a 7th grader?
You weren't a babe in high school?
No.
When
No,
did- when
like college.
You became a babe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But towards the end of high school. But like no, I like junior high. I would say late junior high and early high school were like, ugh, I had a terrible haircut. Yeah, I wore pajama pants like to school.
That sounds comfortable.
I know. It was very comfortable. And I didn't care. Like who doesn't want to be like hot or whatever, but like I was concerned about like school stuff and like extracurriculars, and like that wasn't my focus, and I'm really glad that it wasn't, because it helped me develop into like a multifaceted person that's like not just, and especially for women, it's so easy to be put into a box of like, oh, you're just a pretty girl. Mm-hmm. That like your personality is forced to develop more when like it's not hanging on that hook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Absolutely.
So thank God you look the way you look.
Well, thanks.
I mean, but I could have used not that bad. If it was just a little better. You have to post some of these pictures.
I will. No, I am. I'm going to make memes of them.
You're so mean. We are going to come back with Sid Wilder right after the break and talk more sex and dating. Bye.
Happy hour! I told you we'd make it in time.
Elizabeth, it's 7:59. It's not even happy hour now. It's a happy minute. You took forever to get ready.
Look, Margaret, not all of us are wizards who can magically Beyonce up in a minute. My lackadaisical punk style takes effort to assemble.
What can I get you?
We'll have the 2 pitchers of your samosa mimosas dry.
Snap. Margaret, you sure about that? You're usually kind of a lightweight.
Perhaps, but I just got promoted to level 10 at work.
Oh!
We should celebrate in proper fashion.
Can't say no to using your success as an excuse to get wasted.
So I told the troll, I said, okay, look at me, troll. Look at me in the eye right now, troll.
Back up. Was she a troll in the sense she antagonized you, or was she like a literal troll monster?
She was bold! So I told her, this ain't my first day in wizard school. She
Crap, you probably shouldn't have your wand out when we're getting wasted.
Hi guys, we're back with Sid Wilder and my guest co-host Steve Hernandez. We were just talking about awkward/ugly youth experiences and how maybe that made us better women today.
Yeah, more well-rounded people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. When did you first start becoming a babe?
Probably when I was like 13, I started having like that really rebellious, like I want to be bad, I was like drinking and like putting on a lot of makeup and like wanted boys' attention and yeah, that's probably
When did
around then.
you have your first boyfriend?
Well, I was saying this in the room that we were in before we started filming, that I had my first boyfriend who was a lot smaller than me because my growth spurt was like, I was like the biggest one ever. It was like an ogre. It was like when I was 11 and a half, so when I was really ugly with the hair.
Oh.
And he broke up with me in a movie theater after our first kiss.
What movie?
the Santa Claus.
Oh my God.
It was a really small movie theater in Georgia, so there's only 2 movies going on at the time.
Yeah.
And so my sister was in Saw, the first Saw. And so I started crying, and then I had to leave that movie to go into the back of the other one. I had to sneak in because it was like R-rated, and I couldn't go, and our parents had to drop us off. So it's like he still had to stay there.
Wait, you kissed and he literally broke up with you right after? So he just took the goods and ran?
Basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old were you when you got your first kiss?
What an 11-year-old dog.
I know. He was like, good enough. Like that, wiped his
I was
mouth.
kind of old. I think I was like 15.
Yeah, I was about 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Well, I started young.
I felt like it was taking like a very long time. But it was also like there were like girls in my class that were like, I was hearing stories of lots of different, experiences that they were having. And I think like ultimately it was like kind of a good thing that it took a while. But it felt like at the time, it felt like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I remember my uncle being like, "Oh, you're about to turn like 16 and never been kissed," and I was like, "What? Like, how dare you?"
Oh, you got teased for that.
By my uncle.
That's
by
creepy.
by my sweatpants hip pack uncle, which is like
Was he still married?
no.
Okay, well then you could have made fun of him for that.
Listen, there are a lot of things I could have made.
I was just thinking, do you remember when you start dating your first serious boyfriend or girlfriend? How old were you though? Because you came out here at 16 or
probably.
17?
Yeah.
Well, what about the first one where you felt the pressure to have sex, like that kind of
I never
relationship?
really felt that pressure because I was always really curious.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, what's this like? I want to know.
Well, you got here to LA, Hollywood, when you were 16, 17 years old. How did you, but it sounds like you worked so hard and you were doing jobs. So how did you meet boys then at that age?
Well, my sister was a playmate at the time, so I was constantly going to the Playboy Mansion with her when it was relevant. And when I was working, I was always out in the mix with people. So, I mean, it was really easy. Like, I remember.
People know how old you were?
No, I was like born with a fake ID. So, like, I remember, do you guys remember Area? How long have you been here? You said that you moved the same year.
I remember Area.
Okay, so Area is like Greystone Manor, which is now something else now. I don't even know. But I met like one of my first, like, LA, well, actually he was, his name was Greg Plitt, and I met him when I was 17 out of Area, and I was like, you're really hot. I don't want to leave here without your number. And I got it, and then that was like it, so.
You really hit him up for the number?
Well, yeah, I did, but I didn't know this at the time, but he had a girlfriend, and she was in the bathroom, but they broke up by the time we hung out, so it was good. So I was like, thank God.
And then you guys dated for a while?
Well, yeah, on and off till 2013. So we were like back and forth, because he was a little playboy. But, he had a really fun life. He really enjoyed himself. And he was really hot. He just passed away last year. So I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like the Grim Reaper with stories. I know, you poor thing. He's like heard it all. He's like, my gosh.
Oh, yeah, man. You've just gone through. Maybe you are. I don't know.
What?
When did you transition? Because you did all these jobs. You said you were a makeup artist. You were a photographer. When did you transition and get the idea that I want to be in front of the camera?
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't allowed legally to be in front of the camera until I turned 18 because my dad wouldn't let me. So I've always wanted that, but I was kind of like one of those people, like it was really hard to tell people you wanted to do stand-up or you wanted to be an actor. Like, unless you actually had a supportive family that like cared about you, which if that's so, then I don't relate to.
I know, you're right,
yeah. So I always wanted that, and then I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and I was already studying at like the Groundlings and Second City and like all these different acting schools beforehand, and I was like just getting ready, I was like Ivana Chubbuck. I actually did not like studying with her, but I was there and I was like, working on my craft, but I was still working, behind the scenes. So I always wanted it, but I was too afraid to go after it till I turned 18.
Yeah.
So
that's still pretty young though. Like
I guess, yeah. But I wanted it, and I trained really hard to never book roles. To book a lot of student films.
That's hilarious. That's so like real.
Very humbling, It makes you who you are.
Well, I do wonder. I think in our country, in our society, that we idolize romantic relationships so much. We put it on a pedestal like it's the thing we all should live for. But with someone like you, I mean, you're so ambitious that I think maybe your professional life fills that spot. Mm-hmm. Do you ever worry that that might be unhealthy? Because I think about that kind of stuff all the time.
That's a really good question, actually. I think to a degree it can be, but like I have a lot of goals that I really want to accomplish. And I don't feel like I could give my full self until I reach that point.
I totally get that. And I think like I don't know what you're like ultimately want in terms of like family and stuff like that, but I think like that can take such a huge chunk of your focus, especially for women.
For women too, they have this time. I think, as Hollywood would say, when you're young, you have to capitalize on this.
But it's everyone. It's like, don't you like? Who wants to be the person that's like, you know, in their 40s, like trying to like, you know, you'd like to have that laid down a little bit and like have your career in place, and then, like you said, then, I mean, you can open yourself up to maybe some more possibilities that you were spending that time on your work.
Yeah, and I feel like guys, like, I don't know, women do want to settle down really quick, and like in this town, like there's so many guys that just like want to have like a wifey, and like, you know, you have kids and then you're like, oh my gosh, what happened to my dreams and my goals? And like, you know, I just want to have my own independence and like have a relationship on my terms, and I don't want to settle down too quickly because there's a lot in me that I want to give, you know?
Who do you ultimately see like what kind of...
I love Tina Fey. I think she's amazing. I love Amy Poehler. I would love to write and direct and produce and create and obviously act.
And who would be your Nick Kroll to your Amy Poehler? What kind of guy are you looking for?
You know, Will Arnett was kind of cute. I kind of liked him and Amy Poehler together, but it's like, it's weird to say.
That made me sad.
I was like, how is this possible?
You never know what's going on in people's like relationships, but I always really liked them as a couple.
I mean, does everything end? That's what I wonder about with romantic relationships.
I think so.
Does everything have? I mean, the only
in life, everything ends.
But I mean, like, what do we got?
Nothing's forever.
Tom Hanks left now. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson are like are the only people still standing.
Yeah.
Everyone goes. But here's the thing too. You want to be you're an interesting person. You're an ever evolving person. You don't. How can you meet someone now and 10 years from now be the same person, still be attracted to the same person?
You're not going to be. That's why I want to wait. I don't think that
But
it's
that's
possible.
not necessarily true. I disagree with that. I think like who you want to, like Sophia and Max, we have my writing partner and her husband, who's a screenwriter, are like an amazing couple, and they've been together for like a decade essentially at this point, and they just got married. But they're so complementary in that you know that they're both on these like great trajectories. And what Sophia's said to me is like, of course you never know what's going to happen with that person, but what you ultimately want, or what's ideal to her and what sounds ideal to me, is someone that you know is also like capable of that same kind of growth, and like it has the same curiosity as you.
Yeah.
So like I don't want to be the same as my partner. I don't need them to have exactly the same interests, but I want them to have like a flexible like worldview, and I want them to have a curiosity about life, and I want them to like have the same like passion and hunger for the future. And I think, and if you have all of those things, it's like your chances of weathering the time storm are so much greater.
For sure, absolutely. Being 26, I know like when I was 23, I am totally different, like completely different. And I kind of have learned what I don't want and what I want. And I feel like by the time I hit 30, I'm gonna be such a different person that I don't even know if I pick a partner now, if I'm even gonna want that when I'm 30. You know what I mean?
I'm 33. Pre-30s, I would say, is tough, because like I think about the relationships that I had before I turned 30, and I'm like, would I ultimately like wanna wind up with that person forever?
Well, I'm divorced, and my wife, when we got married, she was 23.
Oh wow.
And then it started to kind of fall apart.
How old were you?
I was old. I was 30, I think, at the time.
That's not
And I was
bad.
fine. Yeah, I was ready to cash out. You know, just a hot white babe, health insurance.
Hot white babe.
Yeah, hot white babe, health insurance. 7 years younger than me. I'm like, it doesn't get better than this. We had an open marriage. We were polyamorous, which I would never do again, by the way. I believe in a lot of the ethics of the thing, but time-wise, and it's just very complicated. And especially if we're pursuing things out in Hollywood, you got to simplify things as much as possible. But yeah, now I have a very strict rule about I don't date anyone under 27.
Smart.
Yeah, just because I saw it with my wife, but I've just seen it with so many women, because I date women, is that they just need all that time to fuck and figure out who they are and what they value. And then around 27, 28, they like flatline and become the person who they're probably going to be for the rest of their life.
I agree. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, and then it's like a safer gamble to, you know, like, it's all case by case. all this stuff. It's like, you know, I would bet money on Sophia and Max, and they met when she was like in her early 20s. But like
they knew each other in high school, kind of.
Yeah.
So.
But that's like rare.
So rare.
So it's not the case for every person, but I think that's like a safer gamble for sure.
For sure.
What are your like relationship deal breakers?
Ooh, I hate it when they don't text back fast enough. I can't stand that. I don't like games.
I like a quick text.
I'll
text back right away. I can't wait too much. And that's just even with friendships. I hate even when you have friendships with people and you see they're always on their phone and then you text them and they're waiting these hours, this half hour. It's like, cut the shit. What are you trying to prove right now?
I know. And also, well, it's that's complicated too because it's like, I feel it's so easy to just like live in your phone and get buried in your phone and start to feel these like obligations that aren't really real. Mm-hmm. Like you have to be able to prioritize your life outside of this device. Mm-hmm. So sometimes like, oh, he texted me.
What a nerd.
That's sweet.
So
getting the feels over there. She's like, hey.
But sometimes you feel like these pressures that are like, really, when you rate them on your list of priorities, they're like not the highest.
Oh, well, I hear what you're saying overall, but we're talking
like,
about dating.
Totally.
Yeah.
But I just mean in friendships and dating, like sometimes when I'm writing, I just need to like put my phone away for a couple hours so that I can focus on the task at hand.
Absolutely.
And that's totally legit. But yeah, if I'm just like running errands and I have my phone on me, I'll totally text
And I'm
back.
talking about people when you've seen them in real life and you see they're always on their phone and then they do these things. Yeah, absolutely. Put your phone away, do all that kind of stuff. Anything else besides not texting back right away?
I don't like guys that ask me to be in threesomes. That's not really my thing.
Just right off the bat?
I mean, I
These
actually
are some
had a
very
guy.
high standards.
I mean, yes. Well, no, I had a guy actually ask me that on the first date, and I was like, no, dude, like you're creepy, and I left. I was like, bye. I literally left in the middle of the date. I was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and just never come back.
Good for you. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that sucks that you have to deal with that, but I bet you have to deal with so much more bullshit
Creepy.
because you have such a sexy vibe.
Producers asking me out to like a meeting, and they're not going through my freaking manager, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna meet at the Beverly Hills Hotel like bar, and I'm like, we don't need to go to a hotel. You're at Sunset and Gower. Like, why do we need to go all the way to Beverly Hills? That doesn't make any sense. That's a little creepy. And then you're gonna tell me the day before, and then it's like a show. I'm like, what? No, I'm not gonna do that.
That's
like,
why she meets exclusively at the Chick-fil-A on Hollywood
exactly.
Boulevard. Yeah,
It's like, I'm not gonna sleep with you for work. Like,
No.
I don't really need to do that. I don't wanna do that.
I bet your DMs are crazy.
You know what? They're actually not that bad. Believe it or not, I feel like I just get really weird, like people from like India or like Bangladesh, like like just random places. Or sometimes I'll have like professional athletes hit me up, but you know, I would never date a professional athlete. I can't stand them.
Why not?
I just feel like they're too entitled. They're too young. They just want to fuck everything. They have like, baby mamas all over the country that they don't even pay child support to, and like you're just another possession to them. Like I'm not someone that's gonna be on your like scoreboard. I'm sorry, I'm just not that girl. I've seen it. I'm just not that girl. I look like it, but I'm not.
I bet you've seen a lot of that kind of stuff, like hanging out at the Playboy Mansion and stuff.
So much shit. That's why I'm like, I kind of learned exactly the type of person that I want to be and I don't want to be. So I'm definitely not that girl. I look like that girl, but I'm not that girl.
That is a good distinction to make and to know for yourself.
Yeah, because it's sad. I mean, those girls just get so caught up in their image. I mean, even hanging out with some of them socially when I'm out at these events, because you have to go make your, pay your little dues and go to the red carpets, just keep your name out there and stay fresh. And just taking like a selfie with them, it's like, oh, I have to see it, I have to approve it. And you're like, I don't even want to take a picture with you anymore. Like, I don't, it's too much work because you're so caught up in how you look. Like, you feel like really nervous and on edge around them because they're like, oh, do I look okay? Is like my hair okay? And I'm like, I don't. It's like there's so much more to life than talking about that 24/7. Can we like change the topic or just maybe not talk to each other?
Yeah.
Do you ever like hang out with girls that are that like vain or like so worried about their image?
Yeah, and I also I have a problem with people's Instagrams being, and I love Instagram, but if it's too curated, or like I know people that like I've gone to just like parties at people's houses with, and it turns into this just like photo shoot, and it's like, don't you want the experience of, I would rather take a shittier picture and have a great experience than like have my whole life just feel like a series of like photo shoots. If it's for work, that's great. But I'd like to be able to separate that from pleasure.
True. I hate it when they have a big following too, and they're like, oh, they're just hanging out with me because I have a big following, and they're like all bitchy, and I'm like, you're really not that great. You probably bought half your followers, so.
And
Well, I've got about 2,300 followers, which is good for a straight fat guy.
I'm one of them.
I mean, but I've got a beautiful face. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
What can I say?
this has been so fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Like deep conversations.
Yeah, it was great meeting you. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
check out Sid's YouTube channel. Her Instagram is on point.
A lot of sexy pictures.
Lots of sexy pictures, funny videos.
Yeah, I looked at your Instagram. It was so funny. I was like, well, I wonder what we're going to talk about. She really likes doing the splits.
I know.
I'm very flexible.
But you've been great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was awesome. You can follow the show at Reality Bites Pod on all the platforms. Steve is at Big Hern on Twitter, and he's Hernia on Instagram.
Hot Insta, too. You're going to love my Insta.
Way better than mine. I'm just saying.
You guys-
You haven't lived till you've seen me do the splits. So.
Come back and check us out next Tuesday. Bye, guys.
Hey guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel. There's gonna be new episodes every Tuesday.
And subscribe on iTunes. Follow us on all the socials. We're at Reality Bites Pod, Bites with a Y, always. And email us your questions at realitybitespod@gmail.com.
See ya!
Bye.